What's up, everybody? You see it here behind me. The clock is ticking, and if you see this video, it's the day of the tournament. Grubby has invited 8 streamers, and they will battle for $10,000 in the Altar of Champions. Today, I want to tell you everything you need to know about the tournament and about the participants. Who's the strongest? What are their strengths and weaknesses? You will leave this video without any questions. For that, I prepared an old school PowerPoint presentation, so let's go into our skill check. But before, you need to know what's this all about. Altar of Champions, a 3-day event. Today is Friday. We're gonna kick things off with an old school clan war. 8 players have been divided into 2 teams of 4 players each. They have a team captain, that is Tyler1 on the one side and Hera on the other side. They'll be playing 2 1-on-1s, a 2-on-2, a 4-on-4, and eventually an ace match. This is my highlight of the weekend for sure, as I grew up with old team competition in Warcraft 3, and will be a great start, as Saturday and Sunday we go into the 1-on-1 competition in a double elimination bracket. And as I said, $10,000 sponsored by Blizzard, and everything has been organized by Grubby and his team. The participants are known from a previous invitational, Tyler1, the Age of Empires World Champion Hera, one of the most known League of Legends coaches in Yamato Cannon, Path of Exile streamer PohX, simply a speedrunner, Maxim from the German League of Legends community, Dantes and Mary, also known from League of Legends. So, you know, there's a little bit of a theme here with League of Legends. The lineup has been announced for 2 weeks. Some people were grinding a little longer, and man, what a grind it was. When we look at the pure MMR, Yamato Cannon is currently the overall favorite. Also, one of the highest amount of games with a strong win rate and hours of streaming. Right behind in terms of games is Hera, also with a bunch of streaming. He is trending downwards a little bit, and he's only at 4th position when it comes to MMR, but you know, MMR is just a number. Very good number of games by Tyler1 as well, even though he didn't stream too much. Absolute grind by Simply, who's coming in with 209 games, and PohX with a lot of streaming hours, but not too many games. Bottom of the field, when it comes to the grind only, is Maxim, Dantes, and Mary. We'll go into the reasons for that a little bit. But yeah, the grinders up top, who plays more, is currently also the strongest. Starting with the #1 player for the RTS fans, of course, coming from Age of Empires. They called him Age of Empires Happy. It is Hera. He's dominating the competition in our brother RTS game. Incredibly likable guy, was streaming a lot. He was, of course, as he was announced, instantly the community's favorite, because if you're a world champ in one RTS, you must be incredibly good at another RTS, right? Turns out, it's not directly convertible when it comes to skills in an RTS game. So his coaches were Grubby extensively on stream, and via proxy also Happy, because Hera, as the Age of Empires Happy, took inspiration from Happy, as he's also playing Undead, and tried to emulate his playstyle. Did that work out? We'll see about that. The volume of games is absolutely incredible. Complete grind by Hera, day in, day out, even though he had to juggle an Age of Empires tournament at the same time as well as Age of Empires content. He was grinding, and that's been his practice most of the time. Less analytic, more pure volume. So he might be lacking in the theory a little bit, but what he is an absolute micro monster. And I want to show you a little clip of that. How do I get back? Shit! There we go. A little clip of that named Hera's Best Play. Look at that. The ghoul to the side, denied with the Dark Ritual. Targets the footman on the right hand side, while at the same time pressuring the Archmage. Just brilliantly done. Trying to catch him, gets the footman, is not chasing too far. His opponent will do him a favor. Now Mountain King comes in, trying to set up a trap, but we maneuver our way out. We know about the Archmage. We surround the Mountain King. Extraordinary Warcraft skills on display here. So when it comes to pure fighting, Hera is, I guess, the favorite of it all. He has the highest micro rating out of all players. And I don't think that is a surprise. He's still lacking quite some knowledge, I have to say. His mechanics aren't up to snuff, like rally points, for example, still lacking a little bit. And also, when we're moving away from the game plan, that is go tier 3 and wreck your opponent, there's some weaknesses in Hera's play, especially when things get weird in the late game. I don't know. There are a lot of other ways to play undead with, for example, Crypt Lord Fast expansion, stuff like that. But no, Hera said, I want to be like Happy, and that will hold him down a little bit, as we also see in the ELO ranking currently. So going into this tournament, he has, of course, the advantage of being a competitor in tournaments. And currently, he fell a little bit from being the community's favorite to just one of the favorites. But maybe the difference is that he's known to these pressure situations in tournament, while other streamers are not, because they take things lightly and are not participating in the $10,000 tournaments. So maybe Hera comes in clutch. Otherwise, I think people expected a little more. Still, there is, of course, undoubted talent for any RTS, so Hera is still one of the best players in this tournament. We see here also, after a little crash yesterday night, he has solidified himself. He's trending slightly upwards, but also seems like he has hit a plateau at around 1300. So it wasn't just one crash out and then we trend upwards again. It stays rather mixed at 1300 going into the tour. Next competitor, you saw it already, is of course the veteran in the Grubby Invitational. It is Tyler1. He put Warcraft back on the menu with FFAs that he organized and also challenging Grubby. That is like more than a year ago, I think. He was also part of the first Grubby Invitational, and he comes in as, I would say, the muscle. The League of Legends content king is blasting out pure volume of games. One game after the next, after the next, after the next, and coming back to the game was incredibly rough. Started with like a 20-game losing streak. After people said, well, he had played before, he's at 1500, he will easily bounce back. Wasn't the case. We have to say, the muscle has done zero theory, and I also think zero coaching. Maybe Knopf was involved, but otherwise he was the lone wolf with his own idea of the game, trying to break through, not following any meta, coming up with own tactics, I think. He's very good when it comes to fighting and harassing. He got a very aggressive playstyle that can catch many people off guard, I would say, especially if you're not too used to RTS competition yet. But we're still not using too many control groups. Units are still getting lost on the map, left and right. He has the most number of games though, so a certain amount of knowledge for the game. But there's no real game plan. I think the creep routes are still improvable. And yeah, he has to reach tier 3 somehow, and that oftentimes takes some time. Maybe, though, not having a coach comes in handy here, as other people spend a lot of time with their coaches, and how will they deal with the game when the coach isn't there? That is a big question that we don't have to raise for Tyler. He's been alone the entire time. He will be alone in the tournament. Can he bring his A game there, or is the spark of last year missing? Tyler, as we saw, didn't stream too much, was rather focused on Street Fighter and League of Legends in that regard. But of course, came in with a lot of previous knowledge, and that knowledge is not going away, even though he didn't make the next step yet. He is on a level of a player that can win the tournament for sure. But also, a lot of potential was left on the table. As you can see, a lot of people underestimated him, as well as he was plateauing around 1300. But just yesterday, on the finish line to the tournament, he's starting a little win streak and he's rising again. So with competition coming closer, never, ever, ever underestimate Tyler1. A player, though, that many people, I guess, didn't know coming into the competition is PohX. PohX is a Path of Exile player, and the first thing he did when he came to the game and came into the tournament was Analyzing creep routes. The Excel sheet plans of an action RPG player, right? If Tyler1 is the muscle, then PohX is the brain. Unbelievable theory crafting. He had a very different idea than most people, because he wanted to understand the game from the ground up, and he wanted to understand the mechanics, and he wanted to understand the basics to build the best foundation possible that carry him into the late game. I think if the tournament is happening 2 weeks later, he would be by far one of the favorites and one of the top players, because he will just accelerate from here with the knowledge that he already got. He had some amazing coaches with Grubby, of course, but also Kevin and especially Smurf came in. And there is a reason, because the playstyle of PohX is similar to Smurf. Warden. Hell yeah, we got a Warden player once again, and PohX is playing Warden in an incredible fashion, we have to say. So he didn't play too many games, but the skills are still showing, as we see in a game of yesterday. This was PohX and Hera meeting on ladder, and watch the Warden. Comes in for the punish, even though it's level 1, and PohX with the last hit. Are you kidding me? Gets the goal as well, last hit as well. PohX is completely out of his mind. Bro, what? This is insane. Is this law lions? So his Warden's pretty good, huh? Turns out a Path of Exile player can play a Warden really, really well. Is this gonna be enough is the question. I saw a couple of games by PohX, and he oftentimes falls behind in the early game, but also has good comeback mechanics. He has a great game plan. He knows his creep routes inside out. He's creeping with Ancient of War on multiple spots. The multitasking is a little bit of his weakness at the moment, but everything else, the hero control, the knowledge, the game plan is top notch. I want to see him in the actual tournament, though. Will the pressure of a one-on-one encounter in the best of 3 get to him? Or can he play like he does in the practice sessions on the ladder? Then PohX is surely dangerous for everyone else in this tournament. Plus, he can play without a coach. He has shown this many times now. You see here the win against Hera with a big exclamation mark, and also before a steady rise from around 1300. Similar to Hera, maybe plateauing at 1800. And this is where it comes in that he played so few games. Maybe the muscle memory is missing. Maybe the speed is missing a little bit. But the potential for PohX is gigantic. Up next on the list is Yamato Cannon, League of Legends coach of Los Ratones. Man, this guy is impressive. We played a show match and he was like 2 weeks into the game, and damn, I was sweating a little bit and even lost the map against this guy. He has probably the best preparation out of all the participants, I would say. He had a bunch of coaches and the man was grinding. 12-hour sessions every day, no freaking problem. Getting coached by Grubby, Hailua, and I want to shout out Hailua, who's in a list of people with better names, but Hailua did the first coaching, and man, did he build incredible fundamentals here in Yamato Cannon. We also had Leon on, Todd, Death Note, plus the grind and the theory, a whole bunch of coaches that all gave him pieces that he put together as the perfect jigsaw. He is the total package in this tournament. The overall strength, I don't think he has any flaws, really. He has a good game plan. He executes it super well. He's not getting too stressed. He's known to competition as well. Sometimes things go a little sideways in the late game, but after 2 weeks, he is the guy to beat. It's not that he's perfect, and it's not that he's unbeatable. He's just a little bit ahead in the competition, and he has no obvious weakness that the other competitions have. So if I had to bet money on anyone, I would say Yamato Cannon is the #1 favorite in this game. And you will see also that this guy has some great decision making, and man, is he living this game. Look, he's playing on ladder and he's coming in trying to cancel an undead expansion. See what happens. He's getting surrounded here. Sweet impale surround. He's trying to get out. Doesn't work. But also doesn't panic.
Cancel it, my soldiers! Last second. Cancel it! Motherfuckers, yes! It's a brilliancy!
It's a brilliancy, boys.
It's a brilliancy from the cannon!
I'll use that, my dude. I'll use that in the cast if it happens again. A little bit of fortitude in this guy. Incredible streamer, I think. It's a lot of fun to see his grind. He's understanding the game. He came in with a little bit of knowledge, but that was, I think, very outdated. The progression is absolutely insane, and I really hope that he keeps on playing after a little break after the tournament to spend time with his fiance. But then I want to see that guy grind to 2K. He is playing dozens and dozens of games every day. And look at this in comparison to the other participants. He's still ascending. He's not plateauing at 1400. It's still going up, 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 up. He got the volume. He got the knowledge. He got the assistance. And he's also playing enough games by himself that he doesn't have, or doesn't need the assistant driving with the coaches. So yeah, top favorite here, Yamato Cannon. Coming in next is Simply, similar to PohX, maybe a person that is flying under the radar a little bit, but the man grinded lots and lots and lots of games, and I think he's a little bit the gatekeeper in this tournament. Usually a speedrunner, had almost, I think, no expertise with RTS, had to pick up the game from the ground up, and I think if you want to create an impact in this tournament, you have to beat Simply. I don't think there's anything that extremely stands out here. It's not like he's microing like Hera or has decision making like Yamato, but he is so rock solid overall. His coaches Grubby, Kevin, and also Sithrin brought him on a wonderful way. I think he has a very good mix of volume of games and theory as well, so he doesn't understand every aspect of the game. That is impossible, and he also started a little bit late because his participation was announced relatively late, but unreal how he put himself onto the level that he's already is, and I think he's flying under the radar of a lot of people of how good he become in such little time. He might lack the speed a little bit, funny, as a speedrunner. And also, I'm not sure how he's dealing with the one-on-one competition, as usually he's racing against the clock, right? But there's no evident flaws. Is he relying on the coaches? I don't think so. Hera said this before. I think Simply can play great games by himself. We have to say, though, the past 10 games or so, he is dipping a little bit. He had a high around 1220, but then hit a little bit of a plateau. If there would be more time, I think he could accelerate faster, but you know, tournament time is now. Maxim Markov, our German representative this time. Every tournament needs a guy like him. He is the resident Pelly Rifle guy, German League of Legends caster and variety streamer, family man, relatively busy, still accepted the competition, and it was very clear from the get-go that he knows this game. He has played this game before, 100%. He knew the basic strategies, and he made no illusions about his aspirations either. He said, guys, I have limited time. I'm not an RTS god. I know the basics. Teach me something that's reliably working and that can carry me a little bit. And for that, Pelly Rifle is perfect. He had some grubby coaching and he had Leon by his side, sometimes at 7 a.m. in the morning, as that is the regular streaming hours of Maxim. Because of family business and other games he had to stream. Not too many games, I have to say. But he came in with a lot of previous knowledge, so this will be good. His micro is sometimes really, really good in these fights. I wonder if he will crumble under the pressure of the competition or not, and how he performs without the coach. This is the first person where I see, hey, this is a lot of potential. He's performing really well. But can you do this alone? We'll see about that. Maybe also the starting time of the tournament is a little late for him, as it's 5 p.m. Central European time. Pelly Rifle is a very good strategy, though. Hard to break, has comeback mechanics, it is a strategy that can overwhelm people with little experience. So never ever underestimate Maxim. And I think a battle between Maxim and Simply as the average guys would be super fun to watch. And I say that in the best way possible, by the way. His games also. Look at that. He is peaking close to the tournament. That, we have to say, was with coaching. But win, 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 win. Maxim knows what he's doing, but can he deal with the competition? Coming up next is Dantes. We know him from FFA already, that Tyler organized like a year ago. And we haven't seen too much of him. Low amount of games, also low amount of streams, but he somehow found a connection to Soul 8-Man, and I think the combo of Dantes and Soul is the golden content piece of this arc, of this tournament. This was unique, one of a kind. Soul calls him his son. Dantes was lost in the ocean, drowning, and Soul picked him up, and they moved away from any like aspirations of playing like Happy. Soul taught him the ways of the Dark Ranger and the Pit Lord. And Dantes loves the Frostworms, and Soul taught him a way of making that work. The mechanics, not there yet. The knowledge, almost non-existent outside of what he himself plays. But this is such a weird strategy with Dark Ranger, Life Drain, Creeping, etc. that I think a player who really doesn't know all the aspects of Warcraft 3 can get overwhelmed, and Frostworm in the late game can also be overwhelming. So from the lower level players, I think Dantes has the most potential to cause an upset with his weird style. He could also totally be lost though. Does he need Soul 8-Man? Mr. 8-Man, as he calls him, of course. Question: he is among the weaker players if we just look at all the numbers and if we look at the pure gameplay, but maybe Dantes can do something with the strat. Recently also, he's winning games, so he's getting used to the game more and more. Unfortunately, he had a League of Legends collab with Jinxie, one of the biggest streamers in the world, and that was his priority. It is only 500 MMR, but let's see if the Dark Ranger can carry him. Similar thing also for MaryMaybe. Started the practice arc relatively late due to other obligations she had to do with other games. Very low number of games, unfortunately, but a lot of streaming hours actually. So it was a lot about getting the basics done and getting the basics right. And I think she elevated herself with the little time she had to a very good level. She had Grubby coaching, Knopf coaching, and also Soul coaching. Is an RTS novice, and for that, hey, we're executing a mirror image Blade Master with Headhunters and tier 3, and it's rock freaking solid for the time especially. The big danger is here also, how good can she play without the coaches around her? And does she get overwhelmed by early harass or the tournament environment as a whole? We'll see about that. But also trending upwards the longer or the more practice comes in. This is not MaryMaybe's peak just yet. And she also said she's looking forward to playing the campaign after. So overall, there is a clear favorite in Yamato, but he's not that far ahead as you might think. Tyler, PohX, Hera are definitely up there, and it's not going to be super one-sided as it was with, for example, Sing Sing before. Simply and Maxim play rock-solid Warcraft roundabout and can cause some trouble if they are not crumbling under the pressure. But I think for the first time, we got 4 people fighting for this championship. Because as you see, the power level that I attributed them to, Yamato top with 68, Hera and PohX pretty much on the same level, but with very different strength. Same for Tyler, who also has very different strength than the others and is approaching the game completely different than the others. Simpy and Maxim, the midfielders, and Dantes and Mary have to cause some trouble here. Maybe can cause some upsets. We'll see about that. That is my assessment, my skill assessment of the participants of the Altar of Champions tournament. I'm very, very, very much looking forward to this. It's so good for the game. It's so healthy for the game. I love the clan war format that was introduced now. So thank you, Blizzard, for the prize money. Thank you, Grubby, for putting this all together. Grubby's team in the back shall not be forgotten. And thank you, you wonderful streamers and the chats of these streamers for making this an incredibly fun 2 weeks. And I'll be rooting for my personal favorites, and we'll see if that works. We're streaming this, of course, as well. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 5 p.m. Central European Time here on Back to Warcraft.